Hey guys, it's Michelle here from Honey Milk. Listen, I want to talk to you guys today about how I successfully run a full-time business as a single mom, not just any single mom, but a special needs mom. So if that is something that you're interested in, please keep watching. Hey guys, so I do have my notes written down here so that I don't miss anything. But when I first started, I was literally married in this specific business. I started as a married woman and I had a partner. I had someone that I can bounce ideas off of. I had someone that, would be there to support me, to help me with decisions and things like that. And so it was a little bit easier. I would say the downside to that is that sometimes you'll be in a situation where you have someone that is not in the same industry as you, or they don't have the same passions as you. However, having a partner is still a good thing. A lot of people are kind of a little skeptical when it comes to, going into business and involving their partner. I didn't try to involve my partner back then. But I did definitely want him to be a part of it because he gave me so much inspiration. He gave me, the motivation that I needed. And he was also there to help me financially, even though we didn't have a lot of money back then when we were married. But he was there to help me with the financial part of it as much as he could, while we were both trying to maintain our bills and things like that. Now, I did have a job when I started this business because I did all my businesses part-time for a while. And then eventually, once, our divorce happened and everything, then I went into this specific business full-time and I shut down all the other businesses because I knew for a fact that having multiple streams of income for me at that time, it would just be too much. It would be too much. So I shut the other businesses down and gave all my focus to this business. The other great part about having a partner is that you'll have support with your children if you have any. We have one child together, and back then, Noah, which is my son, he was super small. He was really, really small and young. And so the beauty of growing businesses with a partner is that I was able to have, support with my child and have somebody watch him and take care of him, take care of his meals and take him his baths when mommy wasn't able to be there full time for the baby, or the baby to the child, the grown child. But there's also support financially, there's support physically and also mentally. And by support physically, what I mean is sometimes when, this is a hands-on business. Anybody that knows me with this business, they know that this business is very, very hands-on. Anybody that has ever come in and helped me, well, whether from my interns, whether friends, just, stopping by, we're being silly, we're doing things together and I'm showing them how to do things. That this business is very, very hands-on. There's so much involved in this business, and it's a matter of the shipping, the packaging, the labeling, the design work, the making, which is a very big part of everything. There's just so much involved. So if you have somebody that can come in as a partner that's there all the time and they can come in and help you, that is a beautiful thing. However, now I'm at a point where I'm by myself. I didn't get to do my winter interns this year because of, financial reasons. I don't have the money to be able to pay them, because I do pay my interns a stipend in the summer and in the winter. So I'm again doing this alone until maybe the spring and summer again. But having support is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, does that mean you can't do it alone? Does it mean that you can't do it alone? Of course you can do it alone. I recommend people start by themselves, especially if you're the only one with that track of mind for that business. If you're the one, this is your business, you're building that business for yourself from your ideas, from your own passions, then yes, start alone, because when it's time to bring somebody else on, you're going to have to train that person and train them well. So I always encourage people to start by yourself. So that's when I started. When I started, I did have a partner. I had somebody there with me, even though he wasn't directly into the business, and this wasn't his thing. But he was there to help me load the truck when it was time for vendor events and things like that. He was there for a couple of vendor events. He would help me unload and set up and things like that. That was a beautiful thing, especially when I was just getting started. So yes, that is a wonderful thing to have a partner, but I am at a place right now where I don't have a partner and I don't have my interns. So I'm back doing this by myself until I can afford to do them again, and then I can afford to hire next year. So the next thing is managing your time. It is so critical to be able to manage your time for success. I always tell people that you have to have some sort of a strategy for your workflow. There has to be some sort of strategy for completion every day. A strategy for completion every day. And I say that because in order to be successful, you have to literally use your 24 hours, even in some cases your 12 to 16 hours. You have to have so much going on in that time slot for yourself. And for some of us, it's only 8 to 9 hours a day that we can actually spend working on our business, because we're replacing it with a job if you're full-time like myself. So for me, it was very important that I developed a strategy for workflow, even back then, 10 years ago when I first started, because I had a job. A lot of you are out there, you have jobs, and you're trying to make it work, and you're getting frustrated, and it just doesn't feel right all the time. You feel kind of like you feel like you're selfishly taking time to do whatever it is that you have to do, and you're leaving everything else behind, and that's not the case. So, but if you strategize your days, if you strategize your systems and put systems, like really, really strong systems, quality systems in place so that your workflow is seamless, everything will be okay. So for me, on a daily basis, like literally daily, I have to make sure that my space is in order. So when I was in another, like right now I'm in the new studio. So the new studio is 2.5 times larger than the old studio that I was in. And so that is very important. So for me, being able to have a clean space, even when I was in the smaller studio, being able to have a clean, organized space is critical for a hands-on business. Let me say that again. Being in a clean, organized space is critical for a hands-on business, especially if you have people in your house, if you have children in your house, if some of you have a common area, you don't have an area where it's dedicated to your workspace. That's typical for a lot of people. Some people start on their dining room counters. Some people are in apartment buildings or apartment complexes. Some people are working out of their kitchen like I started. Listen, the first thing I knew when I started on my little 2-foot kitchen counter, the first thing I realized was that I need real space. I need a dedicated space. I cannot continue, making things and selling things and everybody's passing by those things. Everybody's reaching over those things. Even though for me it wasn't that way, because it was at that time it was just myself and my husband at the time, and I had a little tiny, baby boy that couldn't reach up to the counter. But even though it was that way, I knew that I didn't want my stuff to be, I didn't want my products to be cross-contaminated. I didn't want my supplies, my inventory, my ingredients. I didn't want anything to be cross-contaminated because I had to sell those things. So for me, space is very, very critical. It's very critical. And the next thing I would say is when you do dedicate a space, and let me say this, before I say that, let me say this. I understand that a lot of people don't have a dedicated space because they're thinking about what everybody else is going to think. That's why you don't have a dedicated space. So the very first thing that you would have to do, whether it's your bedroom, whether it's, a corner in your home, whether it's, whatever it has to be, You need to talk to whoever you need to talk to in that home, wherever you're living, whether it's a friend's apartment, whether it's your mother, your parents' home, whether you have a husband or wife, whatever, whoever you have to talk to, let them know, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I need this. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I have to do in order to do this. I'm going to dedicate this space. Do you mind if I dedicate this space? Just out of respect, because communication is everything. If you can communicate, listen, this is what I need to do, and in order to do that, I need to dedicate this space. If you're able to do that, things completely change. Your space is now claimed and it's now respected. You won't have people sitting over there with their feet up and rummaging through your things, because you've communicated to them what you need to do in order to have that space respected, in order to have that space come to life. Now people know that, hey, this is so-and-so's things. I can't touch it. This is her dedicated space. I can't be in that space. So that's going to be important. I don't care where you are. So if you feel like you don't have an opportunity for a dedicated space, you do. You may need to move some furniture. You may need to move some things around. You may need to communicate to whoever you need to communicate to. But you just need to get that space and dedicate it. That is so, so, so important. And you have to communicate that this is what's going to happen because I need this space. All right. So moving on. Your space to work in, how to maintain it. Now listen, it's critical, and I'm going to use this word a lot because I want people to understand how important you having success in this thing is. For me, it was very, very critical that I come back to a clean space. Like right now, I have my orders laid out and they're ready to get shipping the next batch of orders. I have my body butters now, getting to a little bit of room temperature. I just took them out of the refrigerator. But other than that, like I have stuff that I just made yesterday. They're covered and they're cooling or whatever. But when I leave this space at night, I empty the trash. I clean down my counters as much as I can. I reorganize my shipping area because that can get messy. I make sure my desk area or my media center is completely put together. I make sure the trash is outside into the big garbage bin. I make sure my oils are put back. All my equipment and things are put back. I make sure I sweep the floor and get that dirt out of here. That is so important because now you have acquired respect for your own space. If people see that you're treating your space in a certain way, they're going to treat that space in a certain way. You being able to come back to that space the next day and have a clear mind is going to be amazing for your success. Trust me on that. I want you to picture this. You come back into the room and it's just complete chaos. You left it in chaos and you came back and it's complete chaos. That is like the fastest and surest way for doom in your business. If you're not taking your space seriously, nobody else will, and you won't take the business serious. So for me personally, I have to make sure all those things are done before I come back in here the next day. Before I leave after my work is done. And listen, when I'm working in here, I'm doing so much. When I'm doing everything by myself, it's hard to do that at the end of the night, but I know that it has to be done. Now, one thing that helped me, and this is a tip for you, one thing that helps me is when I'm done with a thing, I go and wash those containers. I may reuse them, I'll sanitize them, and I may reuse them for the next batch of something if it's, pretty much the same. But no matter what, it's just like cooking when you're in a hands-on business. Whatever you're done using, you can either put it away if it's nothing to be cleaned, but if it's something to be cleaned, take it and go wash it out and bring it back, dry it, put it away, and then reuse it if you have to. Don't continue piling up the dishes for yourself or the equipment and not putting everything back as you use it. So it's just like cooking with a hands-on business. Whatever you use, you put it back. And however you have to put it back, you do that. If you have to go wash it, if you have to go whatever to it, do it before you move on to the next thing. And that will more than likely help you to maintain what it is maintain your workflow throughout the day. So when you're at the end of the night, you're at that point where it's like, okay, oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't do anything. I want to go to bed. But then you look around, it's not much to do because you've been doing it as you've been working throughout the day. Okay, so the next thing I would say is cash flow. This should have been first, but cash flow. Cash flow for me is something that I kind of struggle with right now just because, and I'm going to say just right now, just because I just finished paying my contractor for this space. And everything that I was making was going right back into this space. So cash flow is a little bit tight for me right now. I don't really have any cash flow, which is not good. And then we just got the Black Friday sales and I did like over 70 something sales in a day. However, all that money that I made, I had to use it to pay my contractor. So right now I'm in a hole where, and I say so like not going to be for long, but I'm in a hole where I need supplies. I need to replenish my supplies. I need to, well, not all of my supplies, a lot of them though, but mainly the essential oils I need to replenish. I need to be reordering oils, my carrier oils and my butters. I need to, get certain additives back in stock, and I'm getting them little by little. So it's really important, and I'm going to be as clear as I can be with this, guys. It is so important that you make sure that you're spending wisely, like you're making smart money moves when it comes time to operate a business. Sometimes I can find myself spending on stuff I don't really need, but I want, because I work hard and I want to, can't do that. Can't do that because it's literally it's going to put you in a place where, it's like, God dang it, if I didn't spend that, I could have that right now, but it'll put you in a lot of those types of places, and that's not where you want to be. When you're making money in your business, it's going to be very important to make sure that you're putting a savings aside for your business, not saving for a rainy day. It's primarily saving to buy again for the business. Everything that I use, everything that I make in this business, I reinvested in this business. And in all honesty, it's not easy to do that. And I have to, pay bills, and I have to make sure my four walls are good, through this business as well. I have other sources of income, but I try to take a little bit from this business to help with those other sources of income. Listen, if you can't pay your expenses with your business, you're going to have to start small. I'm not saying completely do away with your business, but you're going to have to start small. It's not a bad thing if you start small, because you do have to start from somewhere. You have this burning desire in your heart to make a business happen, and you want to do this thing so bad, but you're going to have to start small, and that's not a bad thing. And you have to be smart with your money. Now, if you're the type of person like I was back in the day, where you have a full-time job or just any job and you want to start your business, you can start it following those tips that I said earlier about your space, about communication with the person. But at the same time, start small. Start with 3 products. Start with 5 products. Start with 1 product and push that 1 product to start bringing in an income. And I know that doesn't sound exciting at all. I know it doesn't. Says a person that has, I don't even know how many products I have at this point. I can't even keep up with all the products that I have. So you have to make smart money moves and buy in bulk. It's very important for me to buy in bulk now. I remember when I first started, I used to buy my little 4-ounce bottles, honey, and I thought I was doing something. I knew 2 ounces was not going to work for me when I first started, but now, now I'm in like the 33-ounce bottles, and I haven't gone higher than that yet. But just to get to that point is a beautiful thing. I started with my 4 ounce, and I was very calculated with those 4 ounce essential oil bottles for my soap making or body butter making. I was so calculated, and like I mastered that so much to where I developed a love for it. I developed a respect for where I started, so that when I have the other sizes of bottles, I'm okay. I got it. I'm not going to waste it. Waste not, want not. I understand the power and the value in this thing. So the next thing, like I said, start small. If you can't pay your expenses with what you're making right now, especially if it's primarily your source of income, or a major source of income for you, not just the only one. But if you can't pay your expenses with it, or an expense with it, and still have money left over to reinvest into the business, then starting small is the way to go. It's the way to go, and it's not a bad thing. But you do have to have a strategy for going above that starting small space, like that starting small threshold. You have to have a strategy to get to the next echelon. And that was very, very, very important for me. I knew that when I start that business, I need to make sure that, the next level is attainable, but I need to make sure that whatever I'm making now is going to lead to this next thing. So whatever little piece of money I can take, whether it's $5, whether it's $10 off of every sale, and put it in my business savings, that's going to help me to get to the next level. Money adds up. Money adds up, and people are so afraid to save money. They want to invest it right now. They want to put it in something right now. No, save it, because it adds up. $5 equals, add another $5 to $5, it's going to equal 10, so on and so forth. So you'll be amazed at how fast money adds up, but you have to put some money aside. And that was very important for me, to put money aside for whatever it was that I want. And that leads me to the next thing, managing time. Managing time, I can't stress how important it is. Listen, when it comes to your children, if you have children and you're starting a full-time business, or you're going full-time into your business and you have children, they need attention. They need a lot of attention. And my son, thank God, he doesn't need that much attention, even though he's a special needs child. He has learned how to be by himself. He likes being by himself. He's a loner like myself. He's an introvert like myself. And it doesn't help that he has autism. They really love being by themselves. They like being in their own little world. So I'll keep going, and I'll check on him. But time together and play dates are very important for us. And it's important for his development. So that's one of the things that I have to do in managing a full-time business, is I have to find time for my son. I can get lost in here. I can get lost in Honey Milk. Like, I can get lost in making sure products are made, and making sure labels are done, making sure marketing pieces are done. And, I can get easily lost. But that does not help my son. It does not help the order of my home. It doesn't help the cleanliness of my home. It doesn't help my personal time. It doesn't help my yard, and it doesn't help if I get lost in here every single day, all day, forever. Like, that doesn't help anybody. So it's very important that we spend play dates together. I take him to the park, I take him walking, I take him with me wherever I go. We have fun. We go to the car wash. He absolutely loves the car wash. We go through there, and I make this whole scene while we're in there, because he loves action things. So I do that whole thing with him. But time together is everything. It's everything. But we have to be able to still run our business full time, because this is the bread and butter. So for me, I try to have our meals together. I try to do his homework with him. I try to make sure he's on, he's doing his own self-grooming. I'm teaching him things. I'm teaching him how to keep his room tidy, keep his desk, because his desk can go crazy with crayons and colors, because he's an artist. He loves to draw. But yeah, study time, quality time, play dates, things like that is so, so important for, the work of our relationship. But that's important. So whatever you have to do, you have to strategize that time away from that business full time. Full time is just technically 12 hours. for a small business owner, because the rest of the time it needs to be you. It needs to be your children. It needs to be your home. It needs to be your surroundings, making sure all that is good. So the way that I do that with him is when he's away at school. Well, let me just break it down for you. When he's away at school, I drop him off to school about 8:35, 8:40, and then I leave to go and pick him up at like 3:25, 3:30. By the time he comes back, I try to spend time with him. Not all the time. I can't do that all the time, because he's ready to go upstairs and get on his YouTube and start drawing and stuff and kind of wind down from school. I don't want to take him from school and then start doing work with him at home. Like, I'm not going to do that. So I let him wind down, and sometimes we do a meal because we have feeding issues with him or eating issues with him. So we try to do a feeding session, things like that, once he gets home from school, when I know he's probably good and hungry. So I try to take that time with him after school. Now, when he's at school, that is when my strategy kicks in. My strategy and my systems for success kicks in. That's when I have to take advantage of those hours away from him, or from him being away from me, and me not having to worry about him. I try to take that time and be superwoman in that time. So the night before, though, is when it starts. It doesn't start, okay, well, let me see what I'm going to do today. He's not here. Let me go see No, it doesn't work that way. I have to prepare for my day the day before, the night before. So I try to have his meals done the day before to take to lunch, because he doesn't eat the school lunch. I have to make sure his meals are done. I have to make sure our clothes are out. If I'm going to go to the gym in the morning, which normally I do, I make sure our clothes are out. His clothes are pressed and ironed for, the day before for the next day. I try to make sure, whatever it is that I need to do is done, the morning things, because that helps to chop down my morning. Now, what I do is I wake up early in the morning and get down here to start working. I put my gym clothes on. I brush my teeth, I brush my teeth and wash my face. I put my face on, I do my hair up, and I come down here, and that gives me time to work for at least 2 hours before he gets up. And I'm talking about like about 4:45 in the morning to about, he wakes up about 7 something. So that's giving me a good amount of time to get myself ready in the morning, do my stretching, my meditation, my affirmations, my abundance journal, I write and do things like that. And then I get down here, and that gives me a good hour and a half to 2 hours to work before he gets up. So when he gets up, he'll come look for me, or he'll hear him, because his room is, I think, somewhere above here. But he'll come look for me, and then he comes down here, he finds me, he gives me a hug, and then here comes the dog as well. And then that gives me my cue to go back upstairs and make sure he's getting his little morning started. He's putting on his clothes, he's doing all these things. So when he goes to school, that's when my day really starts. I go to the gym right after I drop him off. I take about an hour in the gym. I get back home, and then I get in here to work. That way I have my breakfast out of the way. I have my, I don't really normally eat that early, but I'll have something sometimes, maybe a smoothie. But I'll have something to eat out of the way. I'll have my workout done. I have a good workout, and I have my video recordings that I do for Facebook and Instagram or TikTok, either one that day. And then I come here and I work and I strategize. Like, I have my planner that I would strategize in and make sure that I have my list of what I'm going to do for the day. And guys, and that's it. And it's literally seamless. It doesn't hurt. It's not confusing. I'm not running around like a chicken with my head off trying to make time to do things. It's already right there in front of me. It makes sense. It's a good workflow. My space is organized. My space is already clean, and I'm ready to go. So that is really how I try to have my heaviest workload in that time period. It's so critical. It is so critical because that is my time. You know what I mean? Like, that's my main time. And if I can't do that, I'm done. I come in here, I make my lotions, like I'll try to, let me give you a bit of my strategy. So on Mondays, of course I go to the gym, I get back here, sometimes if I have enough time in the day, I would prep for whatever I'm making. Anything that is emulsified or needs to be mixed to, into emulsification, I would prep it the day before. If it's time to leave the studio, I'll make sure I get to a good stopping point so I can start my preps for my clay mask if I have to make them, for any lotions I have to make. I may weigh the oils and butters for my body butters and put them in the containers and sit them there. They're all marked, they're all labeled, and they're ready to go for the next day. So when I come in here, boom, we're making lotions, boom, we're making body butters. I start my burners and we're moving, So I don't have to come in here and I don't know what's going on. And then I have to figure it out. And then I have to take time doing that, which will take about an hour for me to make up my mind, because I'm very indecisive when it comes time to doing things in here, because there's so much to do. So strategy for me is everything. I would fail miserably if I don't come in here with, a system. So on Mondays and Tuesdays are normally days for making. Because I have so many products. I have soaps, so many soaps. I have so many butters. I have so many hair products. I have, and they sell out all the time. So I have to consistently make. Every week is a making week. I have to make every single week. Not every day, thank God, but every week. And so I try to strategize and get everything restocked Mondays and Tuesdays. Sometimes it bleeds over into Wednesdays. Wednesdays and Thursdays, I try to start my shipping. I really try to start shipping. Sometimes it's a little earlier than that if I don't have a lot to make. But Wednesdays and Thursdays are for shipping. Fridays is as well. Fridays is when I'm kind of winding down and I'm developing marketing pieces for the rest of the week. If I have a heavy week like I have now, thank God I'm in the new studio, because I probably would have quit by now if I was in the other room. But Fridays is normally just, tidying up, wrapping things up, Saturdays, I try to do Saturdays with making as well. But now Saturdays are going to be for filming, / making, just kind of recording what I'm doing type situation, for the vlogging, because I'm going to start vlogging. But y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot to do, and I love it. But we're going to be a lot more strategized and a lot more systemized in here because of the new space. It's a larger space. I'm grateful for it. It's so functional, and it's going to be even more functional once I've completely finished everything. So the last part is how to afford it. How to afford it. Like I said before, it's kind of summing up everything that I've already talked about, and that's strategizing. Strategizing and saving for your equipment, saving for your essentials that you'll need to make the business happen. And let me say something about that specifically. Do not follow what everybody else is doing. Don't go and get the lotion filler and the this and the that and this big costly equipment, trying and frustrating yourself to get everything at once when you can't afford it. So the easiest way that I do that, the way I do that is to save for it. I'm a single mother. I am a single mother, and my son is with me 23 hours, 24/7 technically. His dad comes and get him when he can and spends a day with him when he can, but for the most part, I am it. And it's expensive to own a house, own a car, have things to take care of, own a child. I don't own him, but he's my child. Take care of a child and to maintain all this stuff by yourself. I don't get alimony. I get a little bit of support from his dad, and it helps, so it's all me. And whatever I have to get, I have to strategize. Like, I have to save. I have to put that money aside in my business savings for buying supplies, unless I'm getting money from a stipend, not a stipend, a stimulus. that's not happening anymore. It doesn't look like. So, it's really 150% me still. And, so that means I can't buy everything that I see. And, everybody has this and that, and they're in warehouses, and I can't do that. So the closest thing to that I was able to do was get a money source so that I can pay for this build. And it was a good chunk of money that I didn't have, but I was able to do it, and my contractor is finished being paid for it, and it's the greatest feeling in the world. But I had to strategize, and I had to not jump into the decision. I had to make it make sense for me. I had to think of, okay, I need this space built out. It was unfinished, and I have to put money aside. So me putting money aside was not fast enough, and it didn't work. It didn't work for me because I was consistently having to go into that money to buy supplies, pay for bills, or whatever. So I said, okay, let me take out a small loan. Let's see if that works. And it did. And that's what I was able to do. And I called my contractor, hey, I'm ready to get started. When can we get started? How is it going to work? What are we going to do? And that was the best thing. But I did that on my own, like literally on my own. And it's the best feeling ever because I did it with my funds. I did it with thinking of things that I already have that I'm paying for, and how I would have to now incorporate payments for that into my life. So it's not something that I jumped into, but I did it. I strategized, and I said, okay, well, this is what I have to do, and this is what the consequence is going to be. All right, let's do it. And it's working out just fine. So I'm in my new space, and now I can really, really go full blast. And that was the whole purpose of everything. So as long as you strategize and you put the money aside for your equipment and get only what you need at that time. If you don't have the money right away, if you don't have a need for the equipment right away, find the other way to do it. Like I need a lotion filler or a bottle filler, but I can't afford it right now. So what I do is I still separate the batch. I put it in a small pouring container and I pour my bottles, or I go get a juice. What do you call? I don't know what you call them, but they have them at parties. You can put juice in it and people can just flip the knob and it'll pour the juice into the cup. I bought one of those years ago, and that's what I use as a lotion filler right now. It's the same as pouring it, but it's a little bit more accurate. I can put my bottle to underneath the knob and just pull down the lever, and it's filling my container for me. I go to the next one, and other than that, I'm labeling by myself. I'm doing everything else by myself. I'm going to get a label, I don't know what you call them. My gosh. A label filler, not a label filler. I don't know what you call it, but I'm going to get one of those where I can just put my label, my bottle in a thing, and it put the label on for me because I can move a lot faster. So right now I'm at a space where I need more fillers. I need a filler, and I need a mixer. I need a larger mixer to mix my body butters. So the last thing I'm going to say is you have to get to a space where you can work faster. So whatever that's going to take for you. So for me, and this means for me, it's going to mean for me, I'm going to have to reformulate some things. I'm going to have to take some things away. I'm going to, like, some certain products I'm not going to carry anymore. Certain specific products I'm not going to carry anymore. If they don't do it as well, I'm not going to keep them. They're taking up labels. They're taking up bottles or containers. They're taking up ingredients. You know what I mean? So whatever I can do to narrow down is what I'm going to do. My body butters, I'm going to start emulsifying them, and hopefully my customers will like it. I'm going to make sure I have a really kick butt recipe to where I can eliminate some of the ingredients and make it still a really potent, beautiful body butter, but it's easier to make. It's faster to make if I emulsify it. Then I can make more of the different scents and things like that if I emulsify it, because body butters is hell for me. So whatever I have to do to eliminate things and to narrow things down is what I'm going to do, just so that I can save money and I can have more containers and labels and ingredients for everything else. that does sell well, that does do good. So that's it, guys. That is how I am managing running a full-time business as a single mom. I hope I didn't miss anything that was very, very important. So just to recap, when I started, I was married. I had a partner, but that is no longer for 5 years now. And I'm 10 years in my business, and I'm still managing, and I'm doing a heck of a lot better now than I was back then. And nothing to the person, but I really am, because I learned so much and I've grown so much having to do everything and master everything by myself. And the second way is I learned how to manage my time a lot more effectively. And being that this is now full time, it does not take away from the development of my son, which is very important. I'm learning how to strategize my time a heck of a lot better so that I can manage this business and grow it at the same time and be successful in it, and also have time for the development and the growth of my own child. Expenses, cash flow, that's something that I'm kind of battling right now, and I'm going to hopefully be able to document that soon for you guys to let you know what I'm doing to grow my business in that way and to make sure my cash flow is steady and steadily increasing. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I try to strategize when he's away to school and still incorporate my me time, where I go to the gym, I do my hair, I look good, I go shopping if I need to, I go, have a good day out or whatever if I need to, but I also have time for him and make sure that his development is on point, his feeding is on point, and whatever it is that his needs are on point. And the last thing is me strategizing for equipment that I need and things like that. So I hope this video has helped you guys in some sort of way. Make sure you go to honeymilkco.com. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you like these types of videos, and if you want to see any other types of videos, let me know also in the comments below. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.